Hi, this is Dr. Pyong Kim from Usong University. My paper is titled as Utilization of Father's Strength with Children in Terms of Their Perceptions and Experiences. I have done this work with Professor Hong Sung-hee from Changchun University. This is the agenda of today's presentation. First, I'm going to talk about the background of the study. Second, the research methods are going to be presented, followed by the findings of the study and the discussion and the conclusion. First, let's talk about the background of the study, particularly focusing on the rationale of the study, definition of the terminologies, and the research questions. The modern society is observing increased interest, particularly in child care of the fathers and mothers in general. And of course, there is an increased interest in fathers' involvement in child rearing and parenting in their homes. However, there are some problems occurring related to this problem, related to this issue. The fathers are usually experiencing this discrepancy occurring between becoming a good father at home and becoming a good employee at work. Some fathers are trying to be a good father at their home, but they are not going to be that good in their workplaces, and vice versa. This is kind of stress that fathers are going through that are resulting in negative effects in their homes and in their workplaces at the same time. Thus, there is a need for efforts to reduce fathers' stresses in these types of areas for fathers' successful parenting experience, resulting in reducing fathers' parenting stress and heightening their psychological confidence. According to the positive psychology, individuals do possess strength and positive qualities, and they can utilize these in order to play their given roles more efficiently and more effectively for successful experience in their areas. We are going to apply this positive psychology aspect to our study. There are many programs that are designed in order to promote individuals' level of happiness and their competencies based on the personal strength. This is one of the rationales of our study. Fathers need to recognize their own strength in terms of their parenting experience. Let's talk about some definitions of the terminologies. First of all, father's strength indicate or refer to the competencies that help them successfully play their roles as a father along with their spouses for their children. Zhang and Xin indicated that it's parents' ability to execute and communicate, especially with their children. Zhang and colleagues said that father's strength refer to their ability to make positive contributions as a society member, self-determination, developmental child-rearing ability, and parenting ability. Li, in 2008, indicated that this is father's participation in daily caring, interaction, instruction, going out together with their children, providing emotional support to them, staying together, and providing quality time and energy with their children. So all of these categories fall into the father's strength that are very necessary as they play their roles in parenting. Hong in 2017 suggested a greater potential of strength-based approach rather than a problem-solving approach in order to support the father's parenting with their children, particularly by analyzing and having fathers become aware of the strength they possess and examining its utilization. And of course, there is much limited researches conducted on fathers' strength, and there is need for the related studies for various approaches. These are 3 research questions we have for the current study. How do fathers with children recognize the exploitation of their strength? What kinds of experience do fathers with children have regarding the exploitation of their strength or utilization of their strength? And what kinds of difficulties do fathers with children encounter regarding the utilization of the strength? This is the research method. Let's talk about the selection of the participants and the data collection and analysis. For this study, we implemented a focus group interviews, FIG, and we implemented a method called purposive sampling in order to form a bond of sympathy among the participant fathers. All participants were raising children when the survey was conducted. And here's detailed examples or detailed description of each of the 6 participant fathers with their age, children's age and the gender, highest degree that they were holding, their occupation, and whether their spouses were employed or not. And these 6 participant fathers were divided into 2 groups. 2 interview sessions per group were conducted, and 2 hours per session was spent. According to Kruger and Cassie's method, an open questionnaire was implemented using imposing questions, introductory questions, major questions, and concluding questions. And of course, the interview contents were recorded for the future usage. In order to enhance reliability and the validity of the data analysis, doctoral and master degree holders were assisting for the data analysis among the participants, and 2 early childhood education professors reviewed the data. Here is a guideline when analyzing the focus group data, according to Willis and Collis in 2000. These questions were suggested as we analyzed the contents of the interviews, particularly divided into 3 group components: what, who, and how. For example, some what questions. What topics and opinions produced consensus or agreement? What statement seemed to evoke conflict? What were the contradictions in the discussion? And what common experience were expressed? Who questions? Whose interests were being represented in the group? Was a sense of alliances formed among the participants? And was a particular member or viewpoint silenced or neglected? Some how questions. How closely did the group adhere to the issues presented for the discussion? How did the participants respond to the ideas of the others? How did the group resolve disagreements? And how were emotions handled, if any of them occurred? These are some guidelines that the researchers were sticking to as they conducted the interviews and analyzed the data. Now let's talk about some findings, particularly in 3 different categories. How fathers utilize the strength, the experience of utilization of the strength, and the difficulties that the participant fathers were experiencing regarding the strength utilization. Most of the participant fathers agreed on the need of utilizing their strength while raising their children. On the other hand, the participants reported that rather than focusing on the strength only, they needed some efforts to supplement the weaknesses they have, because they noticed a need to adapt to a new social standard of being a good father, because such requirements change quickly these days in the modern society. Here are two notable quotes from the participants in this matter. Father number 4 said, I suppose that taking advantage of my strength as a father would make the most of my strength when I am with my children. I'm a quiet person, but I am good at finding information and collecting data. So if there is anything my children are curious about, we search together. Visit the places if necessary and collect the pictures and play. My children seem to be having a lot of fun from this activity, and it was fun for them to do what I am good at. Another father said that I should focus more on what I am good at as my children's father and use these strengths when raising my children. If my children get satisfied and I feel that I am a good father, that's a good use of my strength. The second part of the finding is experience of utilizing these strengths. The participants found themselves capable and satisfied as they utilize their strength to the fullest when they are parenting. And they experienced that the types of strength change depending on their children's age. They gained a sense of happiness with their spouse, reducing the burden of the parenting with different strengths. They also noticed a need for recognizing and respecting children's strength as well. Here are a few notable quotes from the participants. One of the fathers said, my wife and I are very much different. My strengths are being a little bit tolerant and comfortable, and my wife is very rigorous and organized. So when I play with my children, I play the good rules. When I have to scold them or set limits on something, my wife does a great job on it. It was not like we made plans for each other in advance, but the roles became naturally divided. And I think it's comfortable for me and effective for parenting. So this participant father recognized the different strength that he has and his wife has. Another father said, according to the test results, my strengths are love, sociability, and honesty. When my children were very young, I usually loved and hugged them often. But when they went to kindergarten, they started fighting with their friends and they started lying. So I had to use my energy to discipline them to be a law-abiding citizen and to get along with the others in a harmonized fashion. I suppose that's one thing I can do better than my wife. So recognizing different strengths could be one step to start being successful in parenting experience. The last finding is regarding the difficulties that fathers are going through regarding the strength utilization. Due to a lack of knowledge and experience related to parenting, they are expressing some difficulties in recognizing and utilizing their strength. They appeared to recognize the importance of understanding of the different strengths between their spouses, and they also noticed the social atmosphere that emphasizes father's balance between work and their life. These are two quotes, notable quotes from the fathers. One of the fathers said that, I was really scared when my children were born. I never learned what the fathers were supposed to do. The images of my father that I remember are those I gained after I grew up, not when I was in my children's age. As a result, I lose confidence and it's hard to find what I am good at. I don't think there is any. So this particular participant is having a hard time even recognizing what his strength is because of the unsuccessful experience in parenting. Another participant said that, I don't think my spouse recognizes my strength. Well, actually she does, but she says that my strengths are not the strength when it comes to parenting. Because she focuses on my weaknesses, I become hesitant when I try new things for my children. I want someone to tell me how spouses can respect and each other's strength. So this participant is emphasizing the importance of the role of his spouse. Here is the wrap-up discussion and the conclusion. First, parenting-related educational programs need to implement or apply a strength-based approach rather than taking a problem-solving perspective. Its purpose should be to enhance fathers' self-efficacy as they play their roles. In order to achieve this goal, a wide range of studies on specific methods is required. Because there is lack of studies conducted in this particular method, we need to conduct more studies as to how we can help the fathers recognize their strength and use their strength as they parent with their spouses for successful experience in the near future. Second, in order to promote the parenting-related educational programs that are designed for the fathers, it is necessary to provide sufficient amount of time for the couples to understand, share, and respect the strength that each spouse has. Lopez and other colleagues said that the process of utilization of the father's strength do consist of the following components. One is continuous social support, and the other is successful experience. When we think about it, when any of these two components is lacking, it is very hard to expect the fathers to fully utilize their strength, even if they find out their strength. Continuous social support is necessary for fathers to continuously and successfully experience their parenting experience with their spouses. Also, there is a necessary role that the spouses or the wives can play in order to make the whole process to be successful. There is also a series of educational programs that are needed to be implemented for both caregivers to explore and utilize their strength. So such educational programs need to help the fathers to find out their strength for more successful experience in parenting. Third, social recognition and conditions need to be changed for the father's participation in parenting. Social awareness has increased for fathers' participation in parenting in comparison to the past, of course. However, the fathers are still demonstrating difficulties in workplaces, for example, as they utilize the strength they may possess. More efforts are necessary to result in reduced and flexible work hours and longer and more autonomous maternity leave for the fathers. In South Korea, it is still not that lenient for the fathers to get some maternity leave for their parenting experience. So on top of the roles that wives play, there is a social support, for example, from the workplaces that ensures reduced and or flexible work hours for the fathers and longer and more autonomous maternity leave for the fathers. This combination of the support from the society, education programs, and the wives can help the fathers utilize their strength for more successful parenting experience. And here's the reference. That's it for the presentation. Thank you very much.